Good afternoon. Welcome back. Kent Bain with Nine Business Group and Elevate Your Business Spotlight Interview. We have Seth Anderson joining us today with Blue Willow. Seth, please introduce yourself. More importantly, introduce Blue Willow, what you guys do, what sets you apart. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Kent. My name is Seth Anderson. I'm president of Blue Willow Entertainment, as well as partner in the company with Eric Rollheiser. And we are a multifaceted entertainment company. I would say the heartbeat of our organization is really in our studio. We have one of the most unique recording spaces that we've come across in Canada. It's a 100-year-old barn with top-of-the-line equipment. We've got a great producer, and we've done some really cool projects there. That would be, the core focus of what we do. And then on top of that, we also are heavily involved in the community and the local music scene. We put on monthly events called Music for Mental Health. Our goal with those is to partner with local venues to bring a great night of entertainment, give artists opportunities, and also partner with local mental health charities and organizations to help amplify their message and get them some extra help where they need it. And then we also I guess the best word for it would be like an indie record label where we work with artists, we sign them, we have a membership model, and we really just work with artists to help them get to their next level. So whether that's putting out the work that they've created, getting booked into shows or endorsement opportunities, we can help in all those arenas. And I think what makes us different is there's companies that can help you with each one of those things. I haven't come across many, at least in the Calgary ecosystem, that can help in all those different arenas and put forth a value proposition as such. So we're not necessarily trying to be everything to everyone, but we know it's very unique. Each artist is in sort of a unique place. We kind of meet with them where they're at and can help them in multiple areas, which we feel is a great value.
So since coming into the music business, whether it's in the current version working with Eric or longer time frame, what's been the biggest challenge you have had to face?
Yeah, I think any new arena or business or just the music industry, there's a learning curve, obviously. I think the previous role that I was in my day job, a lot of stuff was done for me. I was very lucky that way. I was a director at a big company for a long time. So this has been getting right into the nitty-gritty of everything. I've worked with rock bands and individual artists and booking everything from the hotels to the Ubers to like just every single little thing that needs to get done. One group that I was working with, we did a 40-show summer tour last year. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of logistics involved in that, and the buck sort of stops, in the manager or, backing role. So there's just a lot of little things that need to get done. And I would say, it's very, very, very entrepreneurial, and it just comes with a whole host of challenges. The flip side of that though is like at the end of the day, the product is you get to put on these amazing shows and inspire people and put these great works of art out into the world. So it's worth it, but it's definitely a lot of work.
Absolutely. Well, it kind of sounds like you went from having kind of almost a single job working in a silo where there was lots of help and well-defined help to now being all things to all people.
More or less, yeah.
Welcome to entrepreneurship. Is there one thing you know now that you wish you would have known when you started down this path that you'd kind of go, man, I learned this lesson, it took me too long, and I wish Seth from X number of months or years ago would have learned this sooner?
There's a saying, and it's something like when people show you who they are, trust them. And I think, it is still a very people-based business. And, I think early on you get, at least I did, caught up in, oh my God, the talent, if that talent was just harnessed the right way, the opportunities and the potential is unbelievable. And I think you can get a little maybe starstruck or lost in the talent and maybe not look at some of the other intangibles like hard work, resources. And so, I probably went down a couple of paths, maybe further than I might if I were to look back and tell myself, hey, maybe don't go don't go as far down that path and just trust your gut. And there's a lot of talent out there. You kind of maybe you come across someone and you're like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. But like talent is almost table stakes in this business. Like
Hmm.
there is a lot of talent. And if you're on the outside looking in, I think at least my perception was, okay, if you have talent like that, that's sort of the differentiator, the separator. What I've found to be the case is entrepreneurism and mindset, and I'll call it hard work or work ethic for lack of a better term. Those tend to be the differentiators in this space for who's successful and who's on the outside looking in.
Okay. Can I pick on that a little bit? Kind of go
Sure.
off script a little bit. So
Yeah.
you're saying for an artist, a musician to be successful, I need more than just talent. So is it more than just mindset and work ethic that we need? Would there be 5 or 7 or 8 characteristics that you kind of now, when you're meeting somebody the first time, going, I'm going to invest my time and effort into, I think you put it best as you overcommitted to a few people based on their talent versus not the entire person. I'm
Yeah.
sure I would do the same thing as a coach. Great business, but maybe there's a few pieces missing that's going to hold them back. So, what would you say now would be kind of those 5 or 6 or 7 key pieces that kind of round out and give an artist, and I'm sure an entrepreneur, the best chance of success?
Yeah, and success is never guaranteed, as you know, in any of these ventures. But I think you give yourself the best chance when you're realistic with what's possible. And if you believe fully and truthfully that you can be a touring artist that does 100 to 200 shows a year and has a full band, and you're a multi-million dollar a year business that, and all that requires, like if you believe you can do that and you're realistic about what that entails, I think that's the starting point. But I don't know if you can get there. Like, how do I describe this? Someone put it to me this way: like if talent was the driver for what made an artist successful, go to any church across Canada. This person was in Toronto. So go to any church within a mile of here, and you will hear unbelievable musicians, amazingly talented artists, but none of them are going anywhere in this space because, like, to become a musician in today's music economy, you have to do everything. Like you have to promote yourself, you have to find ways to fund yourself, you have to it's extremely entrepreneurial, and nobody's going to do it for you. There's no record label that I know of that's going to come swoop in and be like, here's $1 million and you're off to the races. Because even if they give you that, even if you get that advance from a record label, you still got to pay it back. So like, why not just go try and make, your own revenue, create your own buzz, create your own momentum on your own? Because either way, you're going to have to pay that money back. So I think the mindset portion of it, if you're coming into this as an entrepreneur who wants to build, what do you want to build? Do you want to build, are you happy being like a $500,000 a year small business that tours locally and has a good following? Like if that's what you want, that is very achievable and doable with a plan, the right team, and some work ethic. If you wanted to get to that next level, how do you kind of zero in and figure that out? So great planning, build a team around you, know what you want. Those are some of the key components I look for now when I'm working with an artist, or if we're going to bring an artist into the fold at Blue Willow.
That is, that's a beauty. Thank you for that. I've said for years, I mean, I've had this, there is this tie, I think, that I have in my head, at least between entrepreneurship and musicians. It was never more clear to me many years ago. I wish I remember the name of the artist, but it was a famous artist from the 80s, and I was in, I think, Sparwood of all places. And here's this famous person from the 80s, and I don't know if this is going to insult the music world or not, but it was like, it's such a bizarre place, almost like entrepreneurship, where we do it with passion. I think musicians do it out of passion with less money. I think entrepreneurs, I think, make more money along the way, but it's kind of like you start out as a musician and you play in the garage, and then you find a shithole van and you go from shithole bar to shithole bar. And then if you make it good, you kind of go to a small town, but you're still in the shitty van. And if you get that next level, you kind of from mid-sized city to a mid-sized city. Oh, then you get to play in large cities, and then you get a tour bus. And if you get a cool tour bus, then the next step is you get to fly around the world on a private jet. And
Yeah.
that's the pinnacle. But what really struck me was these guys who do it for passion. I saw Bare Naked Ladies a year and a half ago at the Great Casino, back to traveling in the tour bus, and almost to the point where this fellow I saw, and it was a small town bar, maybe 200 people there, and it was back to shithole bar to shithole bar, full circle.
Life
And
cycle.
what a
Yeah.
passion just to play the music and do what they love. And so kudos for you for empowering it. And I think that's wonderful. I think there's a lot tied into that from just what's your vision?
Yeah.
You can have whatever you want. I say the same thing about entrepreneurs. You can have whatever you want in business. It's a vehicle to do what you want. But you know what that vision is? And how big is it? I've worked with clients that, working with some clients now, they're 1.6 billion in revenue, which is a crazy number. Got a client who got to 125 million and still growing, crazy number. And to your point is like, if you just want to be comfortably self-employed and to make some money and entertain some people and share your passion with the world, $500,000 a year, go nuts. So thank you for sharing that with us. That's pretty cool. When you look at it now, if there was a thief or a pirate in your business, what are they stealing from you?
I mean, we've got some pretty nice stuff at the studio, so um, I think what we have that's special that someone else would want, thief, pirate, whomever. We've got a great community and it's small and it's emerging and it's developing. But, when we put on an event, for a company that's only, really this iteration or this part of our vision has only existed for 6 months, for us to be able to go out to, find the quality artists that we are, put on an event that gets a couple hundred people out. I don't know. Like, I just think we're still young and maturing and growing as a team. But I think the tenacity and the resilience and just what we've been through already just in this short run together, I think any team would want to, whether it was pirates or thieves or anyone would want to, have that sort of IP and ingenuity on their side. So that's what I'm going with.
Love it, love it. You're coming at this from a big passion, with a very abundant mindset. What does success look like for you and Eric? What is that definition in 5 or 10 or 15 years from now when it's, is it done? And what's that final thing that says we're successful now?
It's interesting. I mean, I think you could probably compartmentalize that into a few different categories. I think anytime you venture into a business and a startup, whether it's, a for-profit, non-for-profit, collective, whatever you want to define it, you want it to be monetarily successful because at the end of the day, that's the only way that we're going to effectively be able to grow it and support artists to the full degree that we'd like to and genuinely help people. So if I were to, there's certainly we'd like to see this operational to a point where it's profitable and we can talk more about things like profit sharing with members and artists and things of that nature. And hopefully that's sooner than later, but also got to be realistic. We're pretty early days on some of this stuff, so it's going to take some time. I think if I were to pull one metric out or two metrics out, that would be most meaningful to me if we look 3 to 5 years down the road would be how many artists have we directly supported or impacted? And if that number can start to be, my estimation right now, whether through paid opportunities, networking events, collaborations, and just overall that have entered our ecosystem, I think we're at almost 100 year to date that have, in my opinion, benefited in some way, shape, or form from what we're doing. If we could start to get into, I don't know, the thousands a year, I think that would be pretty cool. And then how much do we give back? I mean, music and art is a beautiful thing, and it's a connector of people. It brings people together. I'm very passionate about being, a catalyst for good in the community, and that's where Music for Mental Health comes from. And if we can get to a point where we're not just, profitable and able to, grow the business, but we're able to give back, in meaningful ways. Sometimes that's monetary. Sometimes that'll come in other forms to causes that matter to our community. More to flesh out on getting an exact KPI there, but to me, those would be the three success factors that are most important to us.
Super cool. Well done. Last most important question. Who should find you? Assuming a musician of all shapes and sizes. So make the ask, who should find you, and more importantly, how can they find you to learn more about what you do and how they can become a member and get involved and learn from you guys to advance their career.
For sure. I would say if you're an artist of any vocation and you're interested in what you've heard about our community, our membership does have artists. We have digital designers, we have content creators, we have musicians have been the core focus, mostly because of the studio and the events, but we're open to any type of creator or artist that's looking for a community, looking to collaborate with others, and music sort of intersects all of these, in my opinion. So if you're interested in that, you can check us out at bwemusic.ca, or no, sorry, bwemusic.art. We have a fancy little end of that one. The other thing I would say too, just based on this platform and this podcast, one of the ways that we believe we can be successful in, growing and helping art, like truly helping artists, is with corporate sponsorship, backing, and support. Ticket sales is a tough game. I don't know if, like, in Calgary, everywhere, it's a tough game. And obviously we put a ton of effort into marketing our events and artists pushing tickets. But at the end of the day, for this to truly be disruptive and game changing, corporate sponsors get behind a lot of the big events, the stuff at the Saddle Dome, you see it, the bigger artists, you see it. Where I think it could make an even bigger impact is helping some of these grassroots artists get to the next level. And there's a lot of great funding programs that do exist today, but we're on the search now, probably more for that mid-tier, startups that are looking to get their brand out there, looking to associate themselves with the arts, with great causes, get behind some of the things we're doing, and really help us supercharge this thing to the next level. So we're after artists, we're after companies that are looking to get involved with this type of thing. And yeah, that's where we're at.
Awesome. Thank you for the ask. Appreciate it. Got a couple ideas we can take offline. So I appreciate the insight, love the passion, and I love the learning, as the music business is really about an indirect entrepreneurship and having a vision, and there's a lot in common there. So thank you for sharing.
Thanks for having me, Kent. Really appreciate it.